Oh, okay, best unmute myself. Everyone else, you can unmute yourselves now as well. Okay, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever it may be. It's Jeff, aka Godless Scummer, and welcome to another Wacky World of Twitter stream. We are following on from our streams regarding where we went through Pastor Greg Locke's Twitter, and then last week we did Kevin Sorbo's Twitter. This week is really a slight change of pace, so we're going to have a little look through the Transformed Wife's Twitter.
Is that going to be better or infinitely worse?
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in a minute.
We're going to look at a trans wife. What?
Not the way you're thinking. No. First of all, I'll just introduce everyone. I've got One Ring here.
Hello.
Godless Granny. Jenny Morgan, who's freezing in her car, I think.
I'm not freezing. I feel fine.
Yeah. We have Ricardo.
Hi all.
And Sam Chaos. So
hello there.
Hello. And obviously, best just to see rolling around the bottom of there. I'll best just quick thank you to my patrons, Gary Priestley, PJ Smith, and Dog, and I see Dog's in the chat as well. So thank you very much, you guys, for supporting my channel. So the Transformed Wife,
just, if there's just a few more patrons, Scummer will actually be able to afford the StreamYards Pro instead of having to use Restream half the time.
Well, yeah, I've tried to not use Restream whenever I can. To be honest, it's a backup. So the Transformed Wife. I'll ask Granny maybe to talk a little bit about the Transformed Wife if anyone doesn't know who she is. Because I think you've had some run-ins with her, I believe.
Not directly, but indirectly, yeah. I've done several videos about her because she is particularly repulsive when it comes to women's issues. She is a transphobe. She is, I believe she's a homophobe. But when it comes to women's issues, that's where I find her to be absolutely the worst.
Yeah.
And so I've done some videos.
Really likes it.
Yeah. I mean, she's very much women should stay at home, be submissive to their husbands, all that sort of stuff. I think she's probably once you said "I do" on the aisle, that's consent for life, kind of.
She is. Somebody sent a tweet to me of hers recently, which they have to send them to me because the Transformed Wife is the first person that ever blocked me on Twitter. And
I should be up at that batch probably.
Someone recently showed me one of her tweets where she's backed off just a tad, where she agrees that marital rape is a thing. And
that's a shame.
Yeah,
that's progress.
Yes, that's what I felt. The person thought that she was being horrendous, and I was thinking, yeah, she is, but this is still a step for her. Let's, she's making some progress.
Yeah, well, the thing is now with the last two, like the Greg Locke and Kevin Sorbo ones, I think I pretty much had to go back. There's an awful lot of stupid, an awful lot of material there. I only had to go back. I went back to sort of like the start of the year, effectively from January 1st. This one, I've gone back maybe because Transform Wife is quite active on Twitter as well. I've gone back maybe about a week and a half or so. There seems to be an awful lot to comment on here.
Far?
Yeah. And I still think it's going to be edited highlights. So let me bring up her Twitter. Okay. Make sure it's the Transformed Wife's Twitter.
Yep.
Okay, so should we dive right in? Let's see what we can find, hey? Okay. Okay, this is on the 25th of January. Oh, we got a reply from Grumpy as well, which I'll read. Feminine women are to have meek and quiet spirits, not contentious and quarrelling, silent in the churches, be modest and not draw attention to themselves, be lovers of husbands and children, homemakers, live in submission to their husbands, be godly and be godly helpmeets to them. We're off to a flying start here. Who wants to go first on that one?
Oh, I've got a really good bite back, but I'm not sure if I should blow it on the first tweet or if I should save it for when where she's complaining about feminism.
Well,
I think possibly this latter is better. It is.
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack here, including the hypocrisy of her speaking out to tell people how to live.
To be meek and quiet,
I find that very good to be meek and quiet and be, don't say anything, yet you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Telling people this stuff.
Isn't pretty much her entire existence anti-feminist, though?
That's going to be a recurring theme here.
Yeah.
She frequently talks about how awful feminism is.
Also, I'm gonna address something a question Dog has in the chat.
I was going to DM Dog about that, but if you want to address it publicly, Ring,
because I can tie it into this tweet. See, I'm in the middle of a fem swing right now. And the funny thing is, when I'm feeling feminine, I'm actually way more outgoing and confident, outgoing and bubbly and bitchy than I am when I'm feeling masculine.
Those are your bimbo genes.
Yeah.
One thing that's really interesting about the Transformed Wife, not all that well known, you have to go deep into her blog to find this, is, she talks about being submissive to your husband, but she was working full-time as a teacher, and she had either one or two children at the time, but she wanted to stay home with her kids, and she knew if she had one more that she would pretty much have to stay home. And her husband didn't want another child, so she poked a hole in her diaphragm so she would get pregnant against her husband's wishes, so that when she had the third child, then she could stay home.
Granny,
and then they had a fourth as well, didn't they?
Okay, sorry, I think Jenny was trying to get something.
How do you know about something that intimate?
She blogged it.
Because she blogged it.
Yeah, she blogged about it.
Oh my God, she actually said that in public?
Yes, she did.
Oh
and also, the reason why I'm wearing this specific outfit is because I want to trigger any evangelical conservatives as much as possible during this particular stream.
Yeah, please feel free to come and say whatever in the chat. Although if you're a complete asshole, you're going to get blocked. As most of Darth Dawkins and his crew have found out for being complete arseholes in my chat. So, okay, should we find another tweet of hers here? And I think you're going to see a little bit of a theme, I think, with the anti-feminism stuff here. But we got a political one here. Okay, So now with Biden overturning all the inroads President Trump made in stopping the murder of the unborn, destroying female sports and allowing biological males into the female locker rooms and bathrooms, and causing many to lose their job. What was it you hated about Trump? Right, this could be a 2-hour stream in its own.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, unpacking all of that is going to take a bit if we want to do it properly.
So, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty up near in the 90% from what I've read of that the transformed wife has released. Something tells me she doesn't think women's sports should be a thing at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm a little confused about here.
She doesn't think what should be a thing at all?
Women playing sports.
Well, I suspect she's all for pole jumping.
I've never heard her express an opinion about girl sports.
But, given how she believes that the woman's place is in the home being a mother, something tells me that doing anything but home ec in schools isn't for women.
I don't know.
Probably.
Volleyball has always kind of been considered a girl's sport.
Yeah.
I think she'd be all for certain girls' sports to be played, because isn't she also a homeschooler?
Yeah, I think she's pro homeschool, but I mean, when you get to this kind of Kool-Aid, it's very much an ideology that only has power because there's a lot of undereducated, underfunded people out there. And of course, the ideology, presses people to, push for the conditions that will allow it to, the only conditions in which it can flourish, where you've got, undereducated, underjobbed, underemployed people with, 5 million babies at home.
The thing that I don't follow this woman as much as some people in the community do, because I think a lot of people have done response videos to her. I've sort of stayed away, but from what I get, I'm trying to figure out where I was gonna go with this, but oh damn, I've lost my train of thought there. I've totally lost my train of thought. I was going to say something, then I got my attention in the chat. But yeah,
this may be a useful point of argumentation for the chat. If you get into this kind of discussion with somebody, they're likely a transphobe, or likely just plain ignorant about the topic. Ask them one question. Ask them to name as many transgender women who have gone into sports on the Olympic level and taken any medal whatsoever. The answer should be 0.
Yeah, exactly.
It has never happened. In fact, I don't know that there's any more than 1 or 2 trans women who have even attempted to compete at the Olympic level.
Well, I mean, this isn't the Olympic level, but I always remember
that's where the argument usually ends.
But I'll use an example. I had the argument with someone the other day because somebody brought up Fallon Fox with me, an MMA fighter, and I just point out that Fallon Fox never fought any top-level MMA fighters in her career. She never was in. In fact, the only time she did come up against someone who was half good, she got her ass kicked. But but it was a big deal made about the fact that she broke another competitor's jaw. Well, I mean, sorry, that can happen in contact sports. You know,
that's just MMA fighting for you.
That can happen. That can happen in boxing.
And that's what the crowd is paying to see. They love it. That's why MMA exists.
Yeah, it is
damage, blood, breakage. So screw them. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. So,
I know what I was going to say a minute ago now about just the impression I get of her. This woman does seem to come from a bit of a place of privilege.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's very easy for her to talk about how a woman's place should be in the home and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And women shouldn't, you know, the man should be the provider.
Yeah.
Well, you know, actually just the reality of that in this day and age is...
especially in America.
Yes.
But if you can't do that, you just need to pray more.
Exactly.
You need to pray for your husband so that he can provide for you.
See, this reminds me of a joke that I'm sure the transformed wife would very much disapprove of. Monogamy in this economy.
Okay. I find let's go on to another tweet. Let's go on to another tweet here.
Yeah, I wanted to see that one too.
If you fornicated and are telling women that Christ has forgiven you and all is well, stop. Yes, Christ has forgiven you, but use your past as an opportunity to warn other women not to fornicate and warn of the harm that comes from it instead of making it sound like it's fine and dandy. Oh! I wish she'd been in Manda's Twitter group this morning.
So, attitudes
that would
like
have been
this,
so funny.
Attitudes like this is why I couldn't say the word sex when I was 20 goddamn 1 years old.
Really?
I think we ought to ask her how many times she's fornicated and how she knows whether or not any harm comes from it.
Or how many times has she fornicated and lost?
I mean, this it's such an outdated term, like fornicating. You know, it's.
See, we never had the term fornication explained to us. We just got told it was bad, and that was fun.
So, shouldn't fornicate. Fornicating's bad. Okay.
My husband keeps asking me from time to time, well, can't they arrest that person for adultery? And I keep telling him adultery isn't illegal.
No. Still in some places.
Well, yeah, that's what he responds with. He says, well, in the military, it still is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the military. That's just an unusual club.
Well, no. Well, I mean, there are two branches of the military: the Army and the Navy. The Air Force is a corporation, and the Marine Corps is a cult.
I won't disagree.
Hey, okie doke. Right, let's see what else we've get from Laurie's World of Wisdom here. Okay, if you're not an affectionate type person, quickly become one for the sake of your children. They need your warm embrace often. This is nourishment to their souls. Just a cheerful smile makes them feel loved and accepted by you. Okay. Okay.
What wasn't Lori also the one who advocated severely beating your children?
Yeah, I would almost
told that story about how she beat her 2-year-old for 4 hours straight.
Yes,
for crying.
Yep. Though she did correct it to be beat her child for 4 hours with breaks.
Brain bug, I'll pray for you. We'll pray for your soul.
Yeah.
And why isn't this person in jail right now for making such a public admission?
And Sassy Heathen could confirm that. Yeah, she admitted to beating her kids for 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
God,
I mean, because this is one of those things that doesn't seem so insidious on the surface of it. It seems quite
harmless.
It seems like quite a harmless one until you kind of know that really about that.
Well, also,
and I want to show you this. I want to show you the response to this, how Laurie shows affection.
Yeah, but actually, I'm going to disagree with you on that. Because even on the surface, it sounds like, keep calm and let the Stockholm take over.
Yeah.
I would almost agree with it. I would agree with the bit that it is healthy for kids to understand general societal norms of affection.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yo.
My life is a little dependent on the weather. I didn't expect it to be this snowy this early in the day. I'm going to have to go. I need to do some shopping before the roads get too icy, which they're expected to do. And it's just some real light shopping, and I don't live, this is a small town. And I'll get home and I'll come back on, but I got to go for a while.
Okay. Cheers. Yeah, you got the link, Jenny, sir, if you want to put back in. Boom.
That's what it looks like.
Okie doke. Oh, so that's proper winter. Well, outside mine, it's just rain.
We've got some snow, but it's now raining, so it will be gone shortly.
You tend to get a little more snow than us, though.
We got a couple. We got a couple inches yesterday.
Well, this is going to go for at least 24 hours.
We're having an unusually mild winter, which makes me worried for summer.
Up there in sort of like Minnesota, Wisconsin kind of areas, tends to get a little cold. So I've heard.
Yeah,
a little bit.
After the snow's done, it's going to drop to 15 below, 26 centigrade.
Snow's what you call warm weather up there.
All right, catch you later.
See ya. Right. Let's have a little look. I mean, this is weird that it's like, well, I'm not even that far down her Twitter timeline here. I'm really not. But there just seems to be so much. She's very frequent tweeter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, we've got a... when women give themselves sexually before marriage, they are being used by men. This is not love. Love is commitment, not lust. Young women need to be warned of this. There can be serious consequences from a result of fornication.
Okay, hun. I got news for you. Marriage is not love. Marriage is a piece of paper.
Yeah.
If it didn't help clear the bureaucratic red tape, I doubt me and my wife would be married.
Mm.
Because marriage is a piece of paper that happens to be useful.
I mean, I wouldn't want to. I, for one, would not want to actually marry someone without knowing whether you're compatible on that level. It's that I think that because you're getting yourself into a legal contract.
Laughing, I'm polyamorous. I don't think that she would want me to get married to my partners. I think she'd be quite upset at that.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna say Lone Wanderers made her. You okay, Rig?
Brain bug broke me.
Oh, what did break? Hold on, let's find brain. Which one? Which one?
Comment to Microraptor.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Also, Microraptor is an sodomite due to being brain bug.
I think we might have to change his name to Brain in the Gutter.
Yeah, I think so. That's what happens when you hanging around this a lot for. We got our friend the Lone Wanderers responded to this tweet actually. But Laurie, I might have been using him. Equal opportunities. Also, what are the serious consequences that magically happen outside of marriage? My husband could bring home an STD or get someone else pregnant.
Or question, Laurie. Was your husband using you, or were you using your husband when you popped your diaphragm?
Very good question.
But she's married, don't you know? So it's magically different.
Yeah, she signed that little piece of paper, and
Well, for them, it's the blessing from God.
Yeah.
God said, all right, you can do it.
Okay. Oh, well, so this could be interesting. Whenever I teach women to stay married until death do they part, undoubtedly some women must share why they divorced every single time. Why? Question mark. Yes, there are exceptions, but why are they always using their exceptions to try to negate the truth of God's word for other women?
Because, hun, there are a lot of horrible exceptions that shows that it's a horrible, terrible, stupid rule.
There are so many exceptions that it might as well not be a rule.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's yeah, it's I just say, look, I mean, you know, people change over time, and you think, you know, you think you're compatible with them or whatever, and you got to get a few years down it in for whatever reason, it does not work. But
Yeah, people
especially
change, or stuff comes out, or whatever.
But especially in sort of situations where, but this sort of stuff, especially in the situations where, you know, that there's an abusive relationship going on, whichever way that's going, you know, that seems to be happening an awful lot more to just be a few exceptions, you know.
Yeah, it's almost like if you keep people sexually repressed, they'll rush into marriages that they shouldn't get into just so they can get their rocks off.
Oh, by the way, Granny, however deep you feel comfortable with, I just thought you should put in the chat. So
Yeah, I've got some stuff on this, and I never say this on my own channel because of who could say it, but nobody's going to find me here, so I'm a little bit more free to talk here. And this is the only reason I'm still married. If it were not for the church saying, "Till death do you part," I would have gotten divorced 15 years ago.
wow.
And a lot of people are really surprised that I still am married. And I don't know, I probably will end up getting a divorce, but right now I just don't have that kind of strength. I don't really know how to do it after having been married for 38 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, only having known one man my entire life. Sam has taught me an incredible amount. And I just think it's so funny that I'm old enough to be Sam's grandmother, and I'm learning about relationships and sex from Sam.
I do have a tendency to be able to explain shit that isn't necessarily easy to, I guess.
Also, you know,
you are wise beyond your years, Sam. You do know this, right?
you know, also not that I'm know much about you, Granny. I've just kind of seen you around, but you know, when you if you grow up in a Christian environment, there's only so much that you actually learn.
Well, I actually didn't. I actually grew up in an atheist home, and I converted to Christianity when I was 16.
Oh.
But when I did, you know, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. And when I was in college, at the beginning, I was going to Bible studies 5 nights a week because I felt like I had so much to catch up on from not having grown up in it. And I very quickly read the Bible from cover to cover so I could, you know, catch up with. And I was absolutely shocked when I finished reading the whole Bible and then discovered that most Christians never had done that. It's like, you've got to be kidding. You've been Christians for years. I've been a Christian for what, 6 months, and I've already read through the whole Bible. But once I did get into it, you know, I went into it, you know, wholeheartedly. And when I said, "Till death do I part," you know, I meant it, you know, and so I figured you just have to find a way to work through it no matter what. And the only exception being, you know, if it's something physical. And that was something that I used to think I really wished that my husband would break my arm or do something that, I could say, okay, this is enough. But he never did anything like that. The things that he did do are things that would never show. And they weren't physical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's brave of you to share that on the tool, Granny, to be honest. It really is. But I don't really even know how to follow that. But I mean, just the first few words of that tweet, whenever I teach women to stay married, are women supposed to be teaching in Christianity?
Yes, they can teach other women. In fact, they are encouraged.
They can teach other women and children.
Okay. So I am wrong on
that. Here is a fun little thing: is that there is some evidence to suggest that women were listened to for advice in early churches, but that they did not hold the same social standing in terms of legal stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you look at like the Book of Acts and stuff, there's a lot of like literary evidence that the early church was like largely female led. But something tells me things got changed around a bit when a lot of Paul's stuff was canonized.
Yeah, pretty much. The creed changed a lot of things.
Which makes sense, seeing as Paul was a member of the Sanhedrin before he converted.
So you guys know way more about this stuff than I do. I mean, I have read the Bible, but it's been so long that it's one of those things I forced myself to read it once, and I don't know if I could really force myself to do that again. So I have got great respect for definitely a lot of the people in the community that actually still do study the Bible and can sit through and read that. Because
I'm largely relying on 8 years of Christian schooling.
Yeah.
I, for the most part, on this topic, rely on the fact that I've read a lot about it rather than having read the book itself. Like, I'm slowly reading through it. I've gotten as far as the end of Genesis the other week, but I'm still reading through. I just happen to know a lot about the commonly cited bits.
Best of luck to you. The rest of the Pentateuch, Exodus aside, bits of Exodus aside, is a bit of a slog.
Oh, it is, and I'll get there eventually.
Okay.
And when I'm done with it, I want to read the Quran just to say I've read both of them and to be able to tell people to fuck off.
But you have you read the Quran in Arabic? Because apparently it's not the Quran unless it's in Arabic.
That is my understanding of it. That it's you have a lot of them will say you've not truly read the Quran unless you've read it in the original Arabic. That's
The Quran is only the Quran if it's in if it was printed in Arabic in Mecca. Otherwise, it's just sparkling Islam.
Yeah.
At which point I get to turn around and use the argument that therefore all of their propaganda about it being scientific is bullshit because it does not translate exactly. So all the science that's in English doesn't count.
So we talked about this on Purple's stream. I think you might have been there, Sam, when I brought this up. I can't remember if you were. But we, it was like I was talking to God the Song about the fact the Babylon 5 thing, if anyone's familiar with that sci-fi show where
B5.
I think that when the Nuns, all their holy books.
I think Microraptor is writing fan fiction in the chat.
Oh. Let's have a look at this. Okay. If Laurie was married to either of them, she would need to force Ring or Scubber to dominate her. Microraptor, I do not want to think about the transformed wife in that way.
Okay. I had to share the pain. I had to share the pain.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, no offense to Ring, I don't want to think about Ring in that way, let alone the transformed wife. I mean, But yeah, I said about the Babylon 5 thing, where the species that had to copy as the Narn, and they had to copy everything, or like the holy books, all had to be copied exactly by hand, even the imperfections. So when Jakar was writing his holy book and Mr. Garibaldi accidentally spilled coffee on his book, like for like hundreds of years afterwards, they had to recreate the coffee stain exactly
Brilliant.
as it was done by Right, I'm gonna warn you now.
See, that's how you do a living religion.
Yeah. I'm gonna warn you now. I may be going off on one on this next tweet. Okay. If it comes down to this, do you have more confidence in a vaccine with unknown ingredients in it, or your own immune system? Do you know what it takes to have a strong immune system, or do you depend upon a shot to keep it healthy? You
hold
dumb,
on.
Okay, so
This is a fun teaching moment about the new COVID vaccine.
So actually, I do have a list of all of the active ingredients in the COVID vaccine in case anyone's allergic to them. They gave us a sheet of paper containing all the active ingredients.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The COVID vaccine is a new type of vaccine. See, the vaccine isn't actually in the shot. What's in the shot is mRNA, which goes into your cells, and your cells make the antigens that your immune system reacts to. So getting the shot makes your immune system, it basically your immune system is making this vaccine. Well, not your immune system, your mitochondria, but still.
Yeah.
The Pfizer vaccine is quite different from some of the others. That's the Novavax vaccine that's coming out very soon is much more of a traditional vaccine, and that's part of the reason why it took a little bit longer to make than the Pfizer. But it also has other properties that make it easier to use as well.
Right, I'm going to just point something out to Laurie here. I'm trying to calm down without sort of like shouting at her, "You dumb fucking bitch, Laurie." But first of all, I'm going to tell you something. I'm immunocompromised. Okay, there are some vaccines I cannot take, so I have to rely, anything like things like yellow fever, for example. I can't have that vaccine. Active vaccines. So I have to rely on the herd immunity of people that do have that. And let me just point something out to you here, okay? This thing that natural immunity is better than vaccination is bullshit.
Vaccination is natural immunization.
Don't cut me off on this one, Sam. I'm about to fucking go. Okay, don't get me out of this one. Right, let's take measles as an example here. Now, it might sound, it is possible to gain a immunity through a natural immunity. However, the dangers of this outweigh the benefits in the immunity. Now, and you face a 1 in 500 chance of death from your symptoms if you are not vaccinated, as opposed to a 1 in a million chance of it if you take the fucking vaccine. You dumb. You should not be fucking commenting on this shit.
John MacArthur put out a video. I'm sorry. Are you done?
I don't. Jeff? Yeah, sorry, Granny.
No, Jeff.
Anti-vaxxers.
Yeah, Jeff. I just didn't want to cut you off. But John MacArthur put something out that's just as bad, if not worse, because his comment, and when I finish the video I'm working on, I'm going to start working on that one, is that why take a vaccine that's 90% effective to stop a virus that you have a 99.9% chance of it never having any permanent effects on you.
Jesus.
Yeah, and not only is he dead wrong, even on the number of people that are dying from this virus, we don't have a clue as to how long the permanent effects are from this virus. There's a lot of people that had COVID, have gotten over COVID, and still have symptoms. And we have no clue whether those symptoms are going to be permanent or not.
Well, but see, though, I there is one rebuttal that I can give, admittedly in a satirical, sarcastic way. but think of the smallpox. What about the smallpox? It's an endangered species. Shouldn't we save the smallpox?
There's one thing though. There's one thing though about Laurie, which I find quite interesting. She's speaking about natural immunity and everything while she has brain cancer.
What? She's what?
Yes, she does. She's on chemotherapy and radiation. Yes.
Right, we have someone joining us, by the way,
So,
or should be joining us.
Seems there's a bit of contradiction in terms though.
Kitty.
It's Kitty, who I know is on her phone. So.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Don't know how long I'll be able to be on. I'm stopped at a gas station. But I wanted to pop in and say hi to everybody. A rare time you see me without makeup.
Well, you and me both. Well, actually, no, that's not rare for me, but
I'm
Okay,
literally freezing my tits off today. Like, I'm wearing my leather gloves and everything.
Then you won't be Aunt Titty anymore.
Yeah, no, there was actual frost on the ground this morning. It's very cold.
Wow. Frost in Florida is pretty rare, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, chilly.
I'm guessing there's a bit of a delay going on here, I think, but yes, if you've not been listening or not, Kitty. Yeah, the transform wife just had made an anti-vax tweet.
Oh, that'll make me rage. Like that is like a supreme amount of stupid that actually Godless Engineer had a patron hangout like 2 years ago, and I just went on a rampage going off on anti-vaxxers.
You just missed it because I had a good little rant about 5 minutes ago. I have people who know me know
you're looking out for me, ranting in my place.
Yeah, I people who know me, I know because I am immunocompromised myself. I have real disdain for these people. So.
Yeah, no, I take it to the level that unless you have a legitimate reason, i.e. an egg allergy or are immunocompromised and literally physically cannot be vaccinated, that vaccine should be mandatory, and that if a parent chooses to not vaccinate their child, if their kid gets sick, they get popped with child negligence. If their kid dies or gets another kid sick and that kid dies, then they get negligent homicide. Like, I don't fuck around with that.
Yeah. Microraptor in the chat says, pray the corona away works about as well as pray the gay away.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Right, shall we let's see what let's see her next tweet then.
Okay. Fun thing.
Hold on, can I read it first? Can I read this first?
Yeah.
So you're ahead of me. As the days grow more wicked, people need kindness more than ever. Being kind is loving others. In the last days, the love of many will grow cold because of sin. 24:12. Don't allow your love to grow cold. Stay in the word. Sing to the Lord. Smile warmly in others and be kind. I'm gonna puke. Sorry.
Okay, so here's the thing. So Matthew, 24:12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. 2 verses earlier, and then many shall be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another.
Actually, the thing that I find more interesting is if you study history, the days today are not more wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were much more brutal and violent 2 millennia ago than they are now.
Well, I mean, look at me. I am the epitome of wickedness right now.
I mean, the thing is that technology just allows us to be a dick to more people at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with less accountability. Like, half the shit internet trolls say, like, if they said that to a person in person, they'd probably get punched in the face, a la Richard Spencer. The anonymity gives them a shield.
I know. Let's just put it this way: we all know we've all been on the internet. We probably all have come across some certain trolls that talk a very, very good game from behind their keyboard. So, I'd be lying if I said I'm not thinking of someone in particular, but I'm not gonna name the guy. But there's a lot of those keyboard warriors. And
Seraphim, it's a very cute, stylish top.
Yeah.
I've got Punisher shorts. Or not Punisher shorts, Punisher sweats on.
Yeah, Slim says he's got his own personal troll in his gaming. He's cute. Yeah, I think any of us who've been on YouTube for a while have had a troll. Have got our own trolls.
I am invisible to trolls. The only time I've ever had a troll in my chat was when I tagged Mama Atheist in the title, and that was Darth Dawkins going after her.
Darth Dawkins stalking her. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. We tried to figure out because we thought Darth had gotten on to me after he'd been in Atheist Pastor's chat like for weeks or whatever, and then he all of a sudden he was in mine, and we tried to figure out if it was me he was following or Amanda. And I think we came to the conclusion that it was Amanda.
Yeah, I'm still too small for any trolls to be after me, but I've been on plenty of streams where other people on the panel have been gone after by trolls. Mind you, it's not quite as bad as a stream I was in the live chat for the other day where we had some genuine Sig Heils.
Oh, good lord.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing people that kind of shit they instantly get hidden here.
Judy has an interesting idea.
Toxic says if you need a troll ring, I can put you on the list. I know a few.
I'd rather to come by them organically.
To be fair, like it won't take the few trolls I have long to figure out that I'm on Ring's channel quite regularly. So as soon as that happens, I'm sure there'll be and obviously I think Noodles got one or two had one or two on the odd occasion, hasn't she? So it won't take them long to find you via association Ring. So
yeah.
Okay.
I like Junie's idea of God insurance.
Yeah.
Well, that would give a new spin. That would give a new spin to the wager. God's insurance would give a new spinner to the wager.
I'm not sure whether God insurance would be insurance against being harmed by God, or it would keep God away, or what exactly God insurance would do.
I mean, sounds like a waste of money since God is impotent and not real, But hey, what do I know?
Did you know that a lot of insurance companies will not cover an act of God?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wasn't that what's that thing with Billy Connolly years ago? There, it was the film or something. He owned a boat or something. And his boat was like lost in some freak storms. The insurance companies declared it an act of God, so he sued the church. It was quite funny.
I once heard a story of a nightclub that they had strippers in it, and a church decided they wanted to get rid of them, and so they were praying that something bad would happen, and lightning hit the strip club and it burned down, and the strip club sued the church, and the church defended themselves saying, hey, it wasn't our fault that your strip club burned down. And the judge said, okay, I've got a bunch of atheists that are suing a bunch of Christians because their God has caused them harm, and a bunch of Christians saying, no, prayer doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Irony of ironies.
That would be the best lawsuit to be a judge in.
That's it, Tusk. Yeah, the man who sued God. Yeah, that's the name of that film.
So that does remind me of this movie about the Holocaust, where Jewish rabbis put God on trial and find him guilty of breaking their covenant.
I think that's based on something that may have actually happened. Although the version of it I heard is that God was acquitted, but I have heard that story. I think that it may have been based on something that actually happened in one of the concentration camps.
Yeah,
I did see a suit that was filed in the United States where somebody sued God, but the judge just said he didn't have jurisdiction over God.
I mean,
Sorry, Kelly, trying to say something then, or you're muted? You're muted, Kelly.
You're muted if you are trying to say something.
Okay. Okay, shall I get on to the next tweet of Laurie's then? Trigger warnings to this one. How come transgendered men aren't clamoring to get into men's sports like transgendered women are for women's sports?
Newsflash.
They're not.
In
either direction.
Go, Granny. I'll let Granny go first. Okay.
Yeah.
The only trans athlete ever to make an Olympic sports team is a trans man.
Yep. And it's funny because I actually know more trans guys who want to get into sport than trans women.
She
In fact,
just
I'm not sure
doesn't.
It'll be the fear-mongering, and she's taking the stereotype of the fear-mongering and saying the fear-mongering is because this is actually happening.
Yeah.
It's
I feel like she's just parroting, whatever the latest fear when it comes to, because it's always about sports when it comes to trans people.
Yeah, or bathrooms.
Yeah. Well, I've got a simple solution for the bathroom problem. Make unisex bathrooms mandatory.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Alec, as a non-binary person, that would be significantly nicer.
Yes.
I mean, granted, I'm just using the disabled toilets anyway because I need them.
Yeah.
But still.
I mean, I've seen a few places where there are like unisex bathrooms. Okay, like there's sort of cubicles or whatever. It's obviously obvious, but no one seems to have a problem with it. Where these places that have them.
Yeah, very few people I've ever seen throw a tantrum over unisex bathrooms or even unisex disabled bathrooms like a super common here.
Microraptor.
Ouch! How angry would Laurie be if a married trans woman started a YouTube channel calling themselves the transgender wife? Ouch!
I don't think she would survive the aneurysm.
Wow.
Would it count as an act of God?
Okay, let's do the next one here. Why does it trigger women so fiercely when they're told the obvious? Question mark. That they are created to bear and nurse children.
I love the top reply.
Yeah, we'll read that before we get. They're so far removed from God's created order and so fooled by feminism that they can no longer see reality at all. They believe lies instead. And the top reply is, by that logic, men were created to father children and should take as many partners as possible to make that happen. Our biology is not the beginning and the end of our purpose.
Ooh,
okay.
So
I'm going to step out for 2 minutes, so I'll let you guys. Rig, I'll let you. I'll leave you in charge for the so I get back.
So
I would then like to know if infertile women are exempt from staying home.
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Or what about, women who, if they did get pregnant, it would kill them?
Like my mother.
Are they created to bear and nurse children? Or are you saying that God just made them to be condemned to die a very horrible and painful and what most likely futile death, because in most cases the baby dies too? Also, there is the feminism word. So should I pull my comeback to that, or should I hold on to it?
I'd pull that one now.
Okay. So, Jesus said the meek shall inherit the earth, correct? Mm-hmm. And women are, as per the transformed wife, women are supposed to be meek. So, is feminism the meek inheriting the earth?
The earth is mine.
Oh.
Or what about people like me that are beyond childbearing years? You know, and her too. Lori is beyond her childbearing years as well. Her children are grown and gone, and she has grandchildren, and so we no longer have a purpose? If we were created just to bear and nurse children, once we can no longer do that, is life over?
So then, you know what? I'm sorry, but you have outlived your purpose. You have outlived your purpose, and now it's time to go to the Soylent Green factory.
See, now I'm just thinking about the Doctor Who episode where they had the various different deadly game shows.
Yeah.
Just you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah. Hey, Mama Atheist.
Oh, hi, Amanda.
Yep.
Maybe I can sail into the west with the elves.
Did you do something badass and save the world?
No.
Unfortunately, the Grey Havens are closed off to you.
Oh well. I tried.
Yeah. The only time someone tried to do so, without permission, their entire civilization was sunk beneath the waves, and the Earth was turned into a sphere.
Okay. So if I tried to do it again, would then we end up with a flat Earth, and then the flat Earthers would be right?
Well, no. See, that's the thing. The Earth was turned into a sphere, so no one but the elves could reach Valinor.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yeah. There's a reason my name is Ring.
But a flat Earth could be a ring too.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to make the Earth. Maybe we need to make the Earth a torus shape so that they can't even get to the middle of it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's off topic, but we're waiting for Jeff to get back anyways. But this reminds me of a thread where it's like the reason elves can see so far is because since they're the only ones who are allowed to reach the Grey Havens, the curve of the Earth means nothing to them.
So where are the Grey Havens anyway? Are they on another planet?
So so all it really says, it doesn't really say in the Lord of the Rings, but I do have a bit of a fan theory, is that when the elves left for the Grey Havens, they went to the planet Vulcan and became Vulcans.
Right, back guys. Yeah. So,
yeah, we got through with this, and we're working on the Grey Havens and Vulcans and elves.
See, when you say disappearing off with elves, my brain immediately goes to being kidnapped by the Fae.
Okay, more stupid. Why do you think infertile women grieve so deeply that they can't bear children? Because they know instinctively they were created to bear children but can't.
So you say you're saying that your all-knowing, all-benevolent, creator purposefully created infertile women to fuck with them. That's what you're saying, Lori.
Oh, hello. We have an account. We have a new account here.
Yes.
Whoever's behind that, you fucking win YouTube.
Well done.
Thank you.
So I find it really funny because I actually know several infertile women who are actually really thankful they can't have kids.
Yeah.
None of them are religious, mind you.
Well, I'm wondering, what about infertile men? Are they grieving the fact that they can't fulfill their...
No, because in the Bible, it's always the woman's fault.
I'm hoping that I'm infertile purely and simply because I do not want to have kids. I want to be everyone's crazy uncle.
I'm gonna make sure I'm infertile.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I intend to at some point.
I think Stool has that job in the community at the moment, Sam. So
yeah,
it's the crazy uncle.
But here's why infertile Christian women grieve so deeply. It's because they've been programmed from childhood to believe that they're only, by people like you, hun, to believe that their only purpose in life is to push out 10 pounds of flesh on a yearly to bi-yearly basis, and then raise the spawn of their husbands.
By the way, Ring, we have a comment about your top.
Yeah.
Damn it, Jeff, my spouse in a tank top. Tag you damn porn. Thank you, Doodle.
Ring, you bring up something, the story of a woman that I knew, and her husband was the most misogynist pastor that I have ever sat under. And I wondered how she ever could have met this man. I mean, married this man, until I listened to her story of her growing up years. And then it made perfect sense. Because she grew up with a mother who always told her, no man will ever love you. You are too ugly. And no one will ever want you. And so when she met a man that found her desirable, she was so thrilled that it didn't matter what he said. She married him.
Oh, yikes. That's...
Yeah. And Mama Atheist, yeah. My point was more hashtag not all women.
But I wanted to say, I'm an atheist. I cannot have any more children. I had sterilization surgery after my son was born because even though he was a full-term planned C-section with my disability, he still spent a month in the NICU. And it was touch and go in the beginning, and I couldn't go through that again. I couldn't put another life through that again. So I made the responsible choice to, remove my ability to procreate. But I was devastated for a while, and I'm not even religious. Like, I felt less womanly almost. I mean, I got over it relatively quickly, but I did have those thoughts of, I'm giving up my womanhood by having this surgery. And like, it really goes to show you that even if you're not indoctrinated in these more misogynistic, like hardcore misogynistic, like sex and Christianity, there's still a cultural like indoctrination that happens where you tie women and motherhood and fertility like all into the same category,
Oh, by the way, one of my favorite accounts, just because of the name of it, Ring, you're gonna have to do an impression in a second. Kent Hovind CPA is in the chat.
No. See, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs will leave the Buccaneers drowning and floundering in the water.
Kitty, I think that goes to a lot. I think that's more of a human thing than anything else. It definitely could have a religious aspect to it, but it could be just a human thing, that it is the natural tendency or the natural desire of all creatures, human or not, to procreate, because the survival of the species depends on it. And so the desire to procreate is ingrained in us from evolution. And so I think it's natural, obviously it's not a God thing, but it is natural for us to grieve if we lose that.
She's, I mean,
it was rough in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She goes on. I mean, her next tweet, she seems to be on a little bit of a theme here, as Laurie, because her next tweet is this: every single woman was created with the anatomy to bear and nurse children for a reason. It doesn't mean every single woman will be able to have children, but to deny this is to deny reality. Godly women should welcome children freely. They are blessings from God.
Except not every woman was created with the anatomy to be able to bear and nurture children.
Also, in my current femme swing, this is quite the Schrodinger's bind for the transformed wife. Because either my mere existence in my femininity, right as it is right now, proves her wrong, or if she's right, then as a assigned male at birth person, she has no damn right to tell me what to do by her own rules.
Yep. I've always loved that. It's like, you should not speak out, and then turns around, you can't be like us, and it's like, wait, we take your pick.
Also, for just for Microraptor, trans rights now, trans rights forever. Trans rights are human rights. God damn it!
Oh, we need to make a clip with that. Take a Hovide clip and put that as the audio with it.
Well, we've got. Does someone want to rotate out for a couple of minutes?
I can.
Okay, yeah.
I was going to say I can.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll drop you for a bit then, Kitty. I'm just going to bring Jenny back in as she's come back.
No.
Oh no, you're okay, Jenny. Sorry, I don't mind rotating people round a bit.
Also, I think Kitty was getting ready to drive again.
Yeah.
Okay, Doc.
Was Kitty getting ready to drive again? Let us know in the private chat, Kitty, because Kitty's still in the background. Yes, we're having a lot of fun with this, Jenny. Since you,
so I leave and the fun starts, huh? That's the deal. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's all right. It's okay.
But we can always rotate people around a bit and have a bit of a rotation system going on.
Never again brings up a really good point too, and not every woman is capable of being a good mother.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she says this as well. She says, "On you, I'd suck at being a mother." I think I'd suck at being a father, honestly. So,
yeah, I would suck as a parent, and that's one of the reasons I don't want to have kids.
Yeah, but one thing about that, though, you've gone through whatever parental experience you've had, just like I have with mine, and you think that you wouldn't be a good father, but your parents went into it with the same feeling. They didn't know if they were going to be good parents or not. There's no school, there's no lessons for that. So you do what you can, and you learn from what they did with you, and change it or not change it. You could probably be a very good parent.
There's lots of parenting programs, and as a CAJA worker, when DHR takes children from parents, the first thing that they do is the parents have to take a parenting class before they can get their kids back. But I'd like to see that normalized. That's taking the parenting class is such a stigmatized thing that the only people who go are people who have abused their kids or people who have had their kids taken away. We should have everybody go to parenting class.
But it's going to be politicized.
My mum used to run parenting classes for families who were expecting. Yeah. And I used to sit in on a lot of them. So I know all of the shit of how to, and I've grown up around enough kids that I know how to. I just think that as a spoonie, I wouldn't necessarily have the energy to always do the things required of a parent.
Well, I don't know what a spoonie is, by the way.
Okay, basic. So there's this thing called spoon theory, which is basically people, but this is specifically in reference to a lot of neurodivergent people, only have a certain amount of energy in a day, and that energy is separated up into spoons. And some days I'll have more spoons than others.
Oh, okay.
And different tasks require different amounts of spoons and might require different amounts of spoons on different days.
Okay.
So some days I might wake up, I've got 8 spoons, it takes 5 spoons to shower. That day I'm not going to be able to shower and eat.
All right. Well, I get what you're saying there, but I think, and I certainly don't know you all that well, but from what I know, I think you would be a spectacular parent. You've got all the things that are really essential for it: the compassion, the understanding, the openness, the flexibility. Those are the main things that I think of.
So I'm just going to do a bit with a rotating system. Ricardo, I'm going to drop you for a few minutes and bring Kitty back in. I'll bring you back in a bit, Ricardo. Okay.
And yeah,
I certainly have the capacity to be a good parent. I don't know if I'd have the energy to then make sure my kid got to school and shit.
Okay, let's go on to this one. Okay. A message to women who are so easily offended. Don't be. Life is a whole lot better if you focus upon what needs to be changed in you rather than being offended easily and needing to be right all of the time, as many women are these days.
You know what?
Hold on. Needing to be right all the time. What is it? Mama Atheist, where are you in the chat? I think this is aimed at you. Just joking, Amanda, okay? But just a joke. But
so I think this is salvageable.
I think we just say pot, meat, kettle.
So here's how we salvage this tweet. A message to women who are easily offended. Don't be. Life is a whole lot better if you focus on what needs to be changed in the system and fight for it rather than be offended easily and needing to be right all the time. Go be the change you want. Go make the change you want to see in the world. Viva la revolution.
Oh, hold on. Noodle. Has you blocked by the transform wife as well? What? Okay. I'm assuming that's what that is. I know Granny's been blocked by Transform Wife on Twitter, so okay. Let's have a little bit more.
On that last one, I just find it outrageously funny that the hypocrisy she seems to be completely blind to.
Mm-hmm.
I might scroll up a bit, so I'm going to try and get somewhat up to date. And I realise it's just trying to.
I do have a quick one for the devotional thing.
Yeah, well, let's go for that one then. Where is it? Where's the devotional thing?
It's. Let's see.
Okay, we'll go to that one. Instead of spending time reading devotionals, especially false ones like Jesus Calling, simply read God's Word. It's the only book that is living and active and has the ability to transform you.
So actually, you know what? I do think young girls should read the Bible more. Specifically, Judges chapters 4 and 5.
Why?
That's the story of
Deborah?
Yes, that's the story of Deborah.
Why? What?
It's the story of the woman who was judge of Israel, and how the man pussed out and wouldn't go to war without her help, and so the leader that was attacking the Israelites at the time lost in the battle, but evaded capture, and then he got his head pegged in by a woman whose tent he broke into.
So kind of a Debbie Does Damascus, huh?
Yeah.
I like that one. Right, Sam, I'll just rotate you out and bring Ricardo back in for a few minutes, okay?
Hi.
Yeah.
So, let's have a little look through this one.
I actually feel bad for Lori. Like,
yeah,
I brought this up on Gigi's channel last night. Like, my thing is, it's obvious she's in an unhealthy relationship, and as a survivor of domestic abuse, like, part of me literally feels for her, you know, but it compartmentalized because she is spreading such toxic and odious beliefs. But I think part of it's misery loves company, and part of it is her doing this as a way to justify what she tolerates for herself. And it's really sad.
Okay. Oh man, darn it. I wasted my epic rebuttal.
And you've just seen this thing, the next one.
Yeah. I'm gonna use it again.
Okay. Yeah, it works just as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Works even better for this one.
Moms, tell daughters that they can be anything they want to be. This is not biblical. Teach them to be servants, to love others deeply, to be kind and generous, and to obey and follow Jesus no matter the cost. Don't put up with the cultural feminist nonsense of today.
So you know, Jesus did have some words like, for instance, the meek shall inherit the earth. So isn't feminism just the meek inheriting the earth?
Pretty much.
Well, also in the Bible, lots of women had jobs. You know, they were. Dorcas was a seller of purple cloth. Lydia, Dorcas is the one who made lots of garments for people. Lydia was a seller of purple cloth. Priscilla and Aquila were tent makers. You know, lots of women in the Bible worked in regular jobs.
You know, jail, pegged in a warlord's head with a tent stake.
Yeah.
And besides whether or not they're a tent maker, being a wife and mother and homemaker is pretty much full-time job.
Also, the woman, described in Proverbs 31 had a home business.
Mm-hmm. She was in real estate.
Yep.
And for that matter, basic survival would pretty much be a full-time job in those days.
Yeah.
Spend half your day just walking to get water.
Is her channel monetized at all?
I think yes, it is.
Wow.
I think so.
So, how does she reconcile this sort of thing with the fact that she's pretty much running a business on her YouTube?
She'll probably point to Proverbs 31 or say that it's a women's ministry.
Yeah.
A ministry for women.
She talks about that in a number of places.
Yeah.
And where does she get off not realizing that it's that feminism that has given her the position to be able to do what she's doing right now?
That's a good point.
Exactly. All right, let's have a little look through this.
I just want younger people to realize
Yeah.
this about feminism and the women's movement. It wasn't that long ago that things were so radically different. Granny and I can both tell you stories about how badly women were treated when we were in our late teens, okay, or in our early teens too. My mom, at one point in 1970, God, what year was that? I think it was 73. She ran the emergency department at the biggest private hospital in the state. She was making almost twice as much as my father. And when she went to buy her car, she had to have his signature.
Okay. Granny, I'm just going to drop you for 5 minutes and bring Sam back in, and I'll bring you back shortly.
Okay.
Thank you, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I can get a credit card in my own name, and I don't need my husband's permission. Kind of thing.
Okay.
But honestly, Jeff, if you need to drop someone, you can drop me, and I'll just hang out backstage and listen to the conversation.
You sure, Kitty? I was just trying to be fair and rotate people around.
No. It's fine. I'm enjoying the conversation, but I am driving, so it's not that big a deal.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I need to walk, because sometimes I do need to go away, take a break because pain issues I have, and if that happens again, I'll bring you back in before I shoot. Okay. Okay, if you want to hang backstage, Kitty, that's really can't call you to do that. Okay, so we'll bring Granny back in then. Sorry,
thank you, Kitty.
Thank you very much, Kitty.
If there's one thing though, I wanted to say about the Proverbs 31, because she actually has a blog post on her blog where she actually addresses the problem of Proverbs 31, but she doesn't address it in order to justify her having a business or writing the books or making money out of the books. It actually addresses by trying to skew the view of the word maiden in Proverbs 31, as in they were probably unmarried or without children, and therefore could help outside of the household chores. Something like that. I've read it a few months ago, so I don't have it present, but I know.
Can one of you tell me what Proverbs 31 is?
It's an entire chapter on what is the most desirable qualities in a woman.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I should read that. Learn something here.
One of the things, getting back to what Jenny said, one of the things that Ruth Bader Ginsburg did that was the thing that made her so famous. There used to be laws called the disabilities of the married woman, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg helped get rid of those. And it used to be that it was recognized that men could exercise undue influence over wives. And so if a woman wanted to sell real estate, they had to take the woman into a separate room and ask her, are you sure this is what you want to do? It was just, there were just all kinds of laws of extra things you had to do business with women. And as a result, most people didn't want to do business with women.
Yeah, it's one of them. You put extra obstacles in, and even if it doesn't explicitly stop women doing it, it will significantly reduce women's ability to, because other people don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
When I transitioned, I had to seriously think about it, not just in terms of myself, my identity, how my relationships are going to change, but whether or not I wanted to become a second-class citizen.
So I'll read this one out that I've had on the screen for a while now. In our feminized culture that has invaded the church, it's easier to teach women how their husbands should be treating them rather than teaching them how they are commanded to treat their husbands. Women hate being told what to do, even if it's biblical and they're believers. I'm going to put myself full screen for a second. Laurie. Okay. Where are we? Oh, there we go. Any comments on that one?
Victim blaming 101.
Yeah. I also think it's really funny that she talks about our feminized culture, despite the fact that she is speaking on a platform that was created in a feminized culture, so to speak. It wasn't. We're still not even particularly in a feminized culture at all, but what she means by feminized.
Yeah.
I think men hate being told what to do as much as women do. This is a human thing that,
yes,
we all desire freedom and we all desire autonomy. And just because you read the Bible saying that women don't have autonomy doesn't mean that you're right.
Some people don't mind being, commanded and told what to do, but hey, we don't kink shame here, so.
For every lesson that religion has to teach a woman to be subservient, there's a lesson that teaches the man to be superior. And so they have just as much trouble changing and accepting reality as women like Laura here does.
Also, Noodle, you explain me in my, fabulous. You say me being here in my fabulously cute top is porn, yet you want me to flash the screen.
Explain your tattoo.
Is Noodle a friend of the show?
Noodle's my wife.
Yeah, Noodle
hi, Danger Hissy. I didn't know that.
She used to go by Date Hissy, but yeah. She's.
I was not aware.
Yeah, there we go.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Let's go up a little bit then. There seems to be it seems to be a recurring theme here with that. Many women hate the thought of submitting to their husbands, but they're quick to submit to the government when told to wear a mask and social distance, and scold those who don't submit to the government. Therefore, submission is okay as long as it's not their husbands. Laurie, have you seen any of the Karens on YouTube?
She's not been online for very long.
You've not been seeing a lot of YouTube, I guarantee you, Laurie.
Not only that, not wearing a mask and not socially distancing can kill you. Not submitting to your husband is not going to kill you.
Well, it depends on the husband.
In certain situations, it might.
If it does kill you, then your husband is the problem.
Yeah.
I would go a little bit further and say that wearing a mask is not submitting to the government.
Also,
problem of reason.
Also,
reasonable.
You know,
I like Dog's comment.
Lori Hun, I am occasionally femme. My wife is, occasionally feels masc / agender. Which one of us should be submitting to which?
Well, it should be. It should be fluid.
Can I actually say, having collaborated with both of you, I could possibly answer that one. I know damn well I'm more likely to submit to Noodle. I know that for a fact.
This whole angle that she brings up with this mask versus submitting to husband and government or blah blah blah, it's a complete false equivalency. There is nothing that's similar in these two situations. Zero.
Oh boy. Okay. There's something coming up to do. Oh boy. It doesn't get no better. It really doesn't. So I am, quote unquote, pro forced birth because I value all life, even that of the unborn baby. It's heartbreaking how deceived many women are these days, thinking that it's okay allowing the murder of their unborn baby. Oh, Jesus.
Except she's not pro old people. In her video Killing Grandma, which came early in the pandemic, she was saying, we don't need to wear masks. We don't need to quarantine because it's only going to kill a few old people, and we don't need to worry about that.
She's pretty old, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. But she is below the. She was saying that it's pretty much just people over 70. I think she said 75, and she's under 75. And it's true that at that time, that was the highest death rate was in people over 75. 60 to 75 was second, but not quite as high. But her hypocrisy there was just phenomenal. She claims to be pro-life. I care about all lives, but really it comes down to she only cares about unborn lives. That's it.
Yeah.
And then only until they're born.
It's really funny as well how if you bring up the whole, well, if we do not abort the child, then the mother will die, and she'll go, well, let the mother die, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, more anti-feminism stuff here. Feminism. Oh.
Well, you read it. I'm working on something.
Okay. Feminism has caused women's quote unquote dream to be having a career and being successful instead of being a wife and mother at home. So now they're upset if their husband and children interfere with their dream. Divorce is rampant and children are suffering as a result.
Consider if you give women the capacity to exist without husbands, they will divorce abusive husbands.
Okay, Ring has just shared something.
Yep.
Let me put this full screen.
At the transformed wife is the meat.
How fast do you reckon you get blocked for this one?
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna say don't to everyone else. Don't go and like bombard her on Twitter. Just do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah.
Okay? Let this be like the one thing that we do to.
Yeah.
So what do you put there, Ring?
I tweeted at the transformed wife. Actually, hold on, So the people can actually read it. I'll go ahead and zoom in a bit. So I tweeted live on stream. Share screen.
While you're working on that, I'll just give you a quick tidbit on divorce. No-fault divorce came about as a result of the fact that before that, in the legal system, it became an absolute charade in the courtrooms when people wanted a divorce. If there was no adultery among the couple, they would make up an adultery so that they could get a divorce. So finally, the court said, why don't we just have no-fault divorce and stop making people pretend they committed adultery?
Okay, let's have a look. Is this what Ring has put up there?
Yeah.
Feminism is the meek inheriting the earth. Ring.
What?
Yeah.
What did that just say?
So he tweeted at the Transform Wife, feminism is the weak inheriting the meek.
Yeah, is the meek inheriting the earth.
Okay, you sent that to her.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought you were reading something she wrote, and I'm going,
no.
What? Is this not her? I'm sorry.
We'll have to see if you get a response.
You're probably getting blocked. Although, to be fair, Ring, we've been in a. For those who don't know, myself and Ring have been in a desperate competition to see who can get blocked by Pastor Greg Locke first, and neither one of us are having any joy.
And the bastards still edging us.
Yeah.
Well, fine. I'm going to write him a tweet and just to let him know that I remember him from high school and that time that we went off before I transitioned. And
just a note there on the divorces. It's a lie. It's not being rampant. It's actually 50 years low. In 2019 was at the 15 years low. So she's factually wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also,
depends how you define rampant, but yes.
Also, she is advocating marital assault.
But Granny, was it you brought out something John MacArthur said earlier?
Mm-hmm. His anti-vax.
Okay, here we go. Sin makes people stupid. John MacArthur.
Yep. Obviously, she's listening to him.
Yeah.
Probably where she got her anti-vax stance.
Yeah.
Do these people read what they've written? Do they have any clue how bad they are at this? I mean, if you can't even put together an argument for your side that at least can stand unto itself, it's oh Lord.
Yep. Okay. Some feel it's judgmental towards working women because women are commanded to be keepers at home. I didn't make this command up. I'm told to simply teach it. Lots of women have come to be with their children full time. This is the good fruit from the truth being taught. I mean, it just stinks of bloody privilege the way she comes across. It really does.
Well, not only that, there is nothing in the Bible that tells women they're supposed to be keepers at home. The Bible never says that women are supposed to stay home. It does say that you're supposed to love your husband and take care of your children. And it does say that you have obligations to your family, but there's nothing in the Bible that says you're supposed to be a keeper at home.
Mm.
Also, I have an accidentally good transformed wife tweet.
Oh, do share.
Yeah, okay.
If I haven't seen this already. Let's put this on screen.
Read to your children often. Train them to read a lot when they are young. Choose good quality books for them to read. In this way, they will grow up to love reading. This will benefit them for life.
That's probably the only thing I've heard that actually I can kind of agree with. I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
I don't know. Reading is pretty dangerous. You know, you get people thinking and getting educated and stuff. Suddenly they're gonna want freedom and liberty and things.
I'll just see Lissy Lou's in the chat. God, it must be really early for you, Lissy. So,
that's why reading was forbidden to women in The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And oh boy, I'll get in trouble if I say that. I won't say that.
Okay.
Let's just say some religions don't like women to read.
Okay, let's go this. Get married, have children. Mom stays at home to raise children. Dad works hard to provide. Parents love each other until death they do part. Healthiest environment for children. Feminists convince women otherwise. Devastation everywhere. Go back to the old paths, women.
So here's the thing. You know what? There is a way for people who want to live that way to live it. Unfortunately for you, it looks too much like communism. See, what we either need is we need a livable minimum wage or a robust social care system.
Yep.
And then all the wives and all the husbands who want to stay home and take care of the kids all day can. Funny how that works if it weren't for capitalism.
What these loony? Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, because this like the way things have changed in society now because of you've seen you had that this idealized sort of nuclear family in the 50s and into the 60s. The fact of the matter now is that the way things are, even if you want someone to be even if someone wants to be a sort of stay-at-home mother or whatever, it's not always possible.
Yeah,
it is not always possible to be in that situation. Both people have to work.
Yeah. Growing up, both of my parents had to work, at least one of them had to work 2 full-time jobs, but they were both working all the time and we still barely kept above water.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's the exact point I was going to make. That's the economic viability of that model is just not existent today. It's just not.
Yeah.
Also, she's really, what's the word I'm looking for? Romanticizing the 1950s.
Yeah.
She's living as if, Sam, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. She's living as if Leave It to Beaver and Father Knows Best are the way that everybody's lives were in the 1950s, and they weren't.
So, and yeah, the thing about a strong nuclear fallout or a strong nuclear family is you have to look out for the fallout.
Yeah. Okay. I'm skipping.
What happens when I'm muted?
I'm skipping a few here because I know this because I'm just trying to get.
Jeff, is there anybody who'd like to come in? I can step out for a bit.
Well, I can always bring Kitty because Kitty's in the background. If you do want to step out, Jenny.
Well, she's still driving. No, I won't leave. Somebody's driving. Sorry. My heart is that way.
Funny thing. Oh, sorry. In 2020, Thomas Sowell wrote that if the Democratic presidential nominee, Joe Biden, won the 2020 presidential election, it could signal a point of no return for the United States, a tipping point akin to the fall of the Roman Empire. Wikipedia.
In terms of what?
Pray against his evil agenda.
So hold on. So I'm trying to figure this out. Is she saying Biden's got the evil agenda, or Thomas Sowell's got the evil agenda? This seems like the right eating their own here, if that's the case.
Well, somewhere along the lines in the last 30 to 40 years, the language of politics has done a gigantic flip flop. When I was being raised in politics and stuff like that in the 60s, when a Republican stood up and said, we don't want homosexuals to be allowed to do what they do, they were bent on coming into your freaking bedroom and watching you to see what you're doing. Okay. And somehow that language got buried, and it all became very covert in its application. They wouldn't say that anymore, but they still meant it. And it's the same today, except it's gotten worse. They're much better. They're much better at language manipulation today. And whatever they're saying, they mean the opposite. Just look at it every freaking time. When they say something, they mean the opposite.
I'm okay, gonna go. Sorry. Yeah.
In answer to Hissy's or Noodle's question.
Okay.
Thomas Sowell has a PhD in economics.
Yeah, he's an economist, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's quite, I understand he's like about 90 years old, but he's quite a conservative economist from what I know of him. Right, I'm going to, because I'm kind of okay, it looks like her latest tweet was a sermon, but I'm going to, because we're about an hour and 3/4 into this stream, so
yeah,
I'm going to go up to this one here that's 2 hours ago. I know we've missed a few. This is sort of. For you women who complain because your husband wants sexual intimacy with you often, don't complain. This is good. The women whose husbands seldom want them would love you to be in your position. It's good for a man to desire his wife. God created marriage to be this way. Oh. Please. Okay. Any comments?
So, does she not understand how libido works?
I would bet not.
No, does not.
Also, once again, let the Stockholm syndrome, lay back, close your eyes and think of Jesus. That's what she's telling women right here.
Well, the crucifix is a kind of a phallic object, it's
also. And in case you didn't understand the British,
Indeed. Right, I'm gonna start winding this up. Then we've got we've been going like hour and 50 minutes or so. There was a little dive into the world of the transformed wife of people who are not familiar with Laurie already. That was an education. I'll say that much. That was certainly an education. let's get some thoughts going around the title. I'll just drop myself for a moment, and hold on. I'll remove myself, and I'll bring Kitty in. Kitty, do you want to give?
So yeah, Brainbug was just saying that there is the RFR fundraiser tonight that I think is probably a good thing to share. I don't know whose channel it's on.
Your Friendly Neighborhood Atheist.
Thank you.
And it's his celebration of 1 year on YouTube, and it's a fundraiser for recovering from religion.
Yep. So that is a very nice thing to bob along to if you can later.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna get some up from Kitty, but I think Kitty's driving or something. So I don't want to distract Kitty whilst she's driving. So go around the room. Sam, thoughts on the transform wife? It's
how and why does she have a following again?
America.
Because America is one of the most religious countries in the Western world.
Yeah, that's about my only comment is how the fuck does she have a platform?
There's a lot of women that actually love her.
Yeah, she does. I mean, she's not. I think in a lot of ways she. I looked at her channel. It's not like a really massive channel, but she seems to have a lot of reach that seems to be way above her sub count, sort of thing. And I don't know if that's because some of the more prominent atheist YouTubers respond to her a lot. I don't know.
That's quite possible. I think that there's a few channels out there who were starting to die off, who now have new life because attention's been brought to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the holy trinity of dumb Christian YouTubers, isn't it? Is the transformed wife, Girl to Find, and Paul and Morgan.
Yeah, and so, Mrs. Midwest gets an honorary membership there, I think, but not as bad.
Yeah. Godless Granny, thoughts on Laurie's Twitter there?
I think Transform Wife is toxic, but I also realize that she is not healthy. She, she has severe health issues. And as a result, I do kind of try to take it easy on her.
I think that's perhaps something we've got to bear in mind with this. I didn't even know she had cancer. I didn't even know she had brain cancer. I didn't even know this.
Yeah, she just was recently diagnosed like a couple months back.
Yeah, and
no, it's been a lot longer than that because this is her second bout.
And look, whatever you think of this woman's opinions, you don't wish that on anyone, do you know?
Yeah.
And I know we got on a little bit catty at times in this stream with her tweets, but you don't wish stuff like that on anyone. And okay, Jenny, any thoughts on?
I was completely unaware that she had any issue with brain cancer. I've lost a number of friends, close friends, and a very close aunt to brain cancer. And it's just an awful thing for people to go through. I feel bad that I've said some of the things I said about her now that I know this. And although I don't disbelieve what I said, and I don't let go of the feelings I have towards my view of the world versus hers, I would be hard pressed to ever sit on a panel talking about this woman again.
Yeah, I didn't, to be honest, when I decided to do this stream, I didn't even know this. But Ox does sort of saying there, to be fair, health problems, no excuse to be stupid, but
no,
she was like
it's
this
not,
well
but it is an excuse for me to have compassion.
It's probably more, maybe towards the end of this now, maybe feel like maybe we kick this woman while she's down. I didn't know that when we decided to do this, but I'd more to be again more. I'd like to more challenge the ideas she's espousing rather than her herself.
And to be fair, to the stream, I think for the most part the stream was more addressing the ideas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Did we take some shots at her? Yes, we have done, but we can't deny that. But
and it's been for a lot longer than she's had the cancer that she's been doing the dumb shit.
Oh yes, no question, because she's been doing this for decades.
Yeah. And it's yes, Brainbug says attack the argument, not the person. You're good. Yeah, we might have gotten a little catty at times in this, but really, it's her arguments that need more than. Ricardo, any final thoughts?
Well, obviously, I wouldn't wish her to have a brain cancer. Obviously, that's not even up for argument. But I see Laurie as many other Christians. She was doing this well before the brain cancer was an issue. And she uses, and sometimes she's talking things from the Bible that go against her own reality. So this whole concept of trying to impose their fun fiction into others people, I'm not ever going to excuse that. So if I knew her personally, probably I would be more compassionate towards her situation. But on a public sphere, no, it doesn't faze me at all. I just think she's wrong. She's silly. Actually, Laurie is sometimes really, really, really stupid in some of her tweets, particularly the ones older. We've not gone through any of it that was particularly stupid, but she has some really bad takes, and I've read her blog, and it's appalling. So yeah, I'm sorry about her situation, but yeah, still just fade away would be probably the best thing that I would wish her. But unfortunately, it is what it is. Reality hits everybody, including those that believe in the fun fiction, and she needs to take that into account.
Well said.
Okay, that's very well said, Ricardo. Ring.
I've said it a couple times before. Heck, I even tweeted it live, but I'll say it again. Feminism is the meek inheriting the earth.
Very good.
Also, if Emily is still in the chat, and if you're all right with it, I'm fine with, just explaining my tattoo if everyone's fine with that. Also, I'm sorry. What?
Up to you. Up to you. Go ahead if you want to.
Okay, so it's the phylogenetic tree of life.
Oh,
Awesome.
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And basically the sun is like the sun rays are there just because it was a cool border.
Okie doke, cool.
Yeah.
My final thoughts. Obviously, probably when it started this, I didn't perhaps know she was ill, but again, we've taken some caddy shots at times, but her ideas need to be challenged. That's more, I think, what I want to do is challenge her ideas. And her Twitter is, the stuff she puts out on Twitter is problematic, needs to be addressed. I don't know that this has been. I mean, I've always tried to. The weird thing is, since I started doing this series, I've always I started this whole thing with the Twitter things to hopefully have a bit of fun with this stuff, but it always seems to be getting some way more serious than we ever intended getting on to these. But I think there's obviously some worthwhile conversations that need to be had here. So I'll go around the room. I'll start with you, Ring. Anything you'd like to plug?
Well, currently just secular D&D, and on Sunday we're doing Shanghai Noon for Media Musings.
Awesome. Ricardo, you got anything you'd like to plug?
No, just the Twitter, where I'm an usual asshole.
Jenny, got anything you want to plug?
Nope.
Okay. Granny, I'm sure you will have to. I'm sure you've got something you want to plug.
Yep. Atheist Edge this morning released another in his series, 666 Things Your Religious Teacher Never Taught You, and I'm featured in the one that was released this morning. And it's a collab project with lots of different people contributing stuff. And this coming Tuesday will be another episode of Why Are We Here? Thomas Westbrook, Aaron Ra, Mama Atheist, Math Pig, and Cynthia McDonald will be on that episode.
That's quite a panel.
That is quite a panel.
Yep. Sam.
So I'm going to quickly replug the Your Friendly Neighborhood Atheists fundraising stream this evening for Recovering from Religion. In the next few days, I should have a video coming out. I was supposed to release it a couple of days ago, but I fell down a rabbit hole writing an essay. And in the next few weeks, I'm going to actually have the first episode of a podcast I'm starting out.
Okay. Okay, I'll just go last stuff. As far as anything I've got scheduled at the moment, the only thing I have scheduled on my channel, this point will be this Sunday, 1 p.m. UK time, is the ongoing read through the Asterix books that myself and Noodle do. And actually, I will say, if you didn't see the one we did on Noodle's channel the other day, it's well worth it, despite the fact that both of us had a rant because we had this book was actually quite a bad one. So we deal with the light-hearted and the humorous, and with the quite serious and sometimes problematic stuff that we have to deal with in those books as well. So so next one, we're due to be doing Asterix and Obelix All at Sea, which has got its issues, but compared to the one we just did, will be something of a come down, but it still has got its issues, as I'll warn people. So yeah, other than that, as people know, I've got a Patreon. The link for that is in the is there at all. So thanks for everyone who's joined us. Thanks Ring, Ricardo, Jenny, Granny, Sam, and Kitty, who's still backstage for participating today. Thanks to everybody in the chat for your contributions. This has been Jeff, Godless Scummer. Thanks for joining us. See you all later. Salute.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.